Hello, everyone. This is Andrew Berman. You are watching another Mortgage Leadership Outlook coming to you from the NMP studios, which is wherever we are. Let's call a spade a spade. We're in my basement. There's laundry over here. But with me today, I'm so excited to bring you Ben Teerlink, who's the CEO and founder of MobilityRE. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be on here, Andrew. Excited to jump on and have a good chat.
Yeah, so listen, we've been, and if you've been joining us here every week, you know actually why we created this. We started this at the beginning of the pandemic, just to kind of say, hey, listen, what is going on? How do we actually, meet with the biggest leaders in the mortgage industry and just talk to our readers and talk about what to say, what to do. When we started this, I don't think actually anyone had a clue actually that we were going to see the year that we were having. And I know actually most originators are just kind of their head down, focused on growth. Most people in the mortgage business are head down, focused on the growth. No one's actually taking the time to take a step back and say, what kind of numbers are we doing as an industry? Well, that's what Ben's business is. He actually created a business that focuses on that, not just actually mortgage originators, but real estate agents. And we're going to talk a little bit about actually, how mortgage originators are using some of the data, if you don't mind, Ben. We'll go into a little bit like how originators are using the data to potentially recruit, but also to actually to find the right real estate agents that to work with. But I want to start out with your story, and okay. I'm going to tease everyone. So listen, we are going to get into the big numbers. We're going to find out, and it's one of but wait, there's more kind of thing. You're going to find out how many originators have broke 1,000 units. 1,000 units already. I've heard 2 or 3, but what Ben told me seconds before we went live blew my mind, and just some other crazy data points. But Ben, you can actually, I want to invite some other people to join us actually on Facebook. So I'm going to share in the groups. If you could talk to us a little bit about your story. I know you started out actually in real estate. Tell us a little bit about actually your path to create MobilityRE.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a funny path. So everyone's like, oh, are you a web developer? Are you a tech guy? And the answer is always no. It'd be nice if I was, but I maybe have turned into that. But started as a real estate guy. I was selling houses, did residential real estate. My dad had done commercial real estate and development forever, so I kind of grew up with it and watched it and heard it, and got into the business and just thought I'm going to sell houses and see how we do. And, built up a team and had an awesome little team. We're based out of Utah. We were doing we felt like a whole lot of production. Closing a lot of deals, and we just felt like the tools that were being offered to us were just kind of antiquated. They didn't really do what we needed them to do, and so we started kind of thinking, well, what if we could build this? Wouldn't this be awesome if instead of these old 800 call capture numbers, if we could actually send photos to people's phone when they're standing out in front of them? But, when we were trying to build that, we were still trying to send photos to Blackberries and Trios, and, you'd get a photo.
Trios. You said Trios. That's awesome.
I said Trio. I had the Trio.
That's
and
great.
it took a good minute phone to get the one picture. It was a great phone. I thought it was the coolest thing ever back then, even though it was that thick and, but, so we're trying to send photos to those, and the concept was awesome. But then fortunately, iPhone came out, and Android, and, so we started kind of building those, and really it was for ourselves. And as we did that, then it was this stuff's pretty cool. I wonder if other agents would like this. And so, our brokerage that, I was at said, oh, well, I'd use this. This is pretty cool. So we got there, and then that expanded to some others. And then it was this is maybe has some legs. We should maybe go for it. So, that was really kind of mid-recession. That's probably why we had time to build technologies. Is things had slowed down a fair amount in the real estate industry in 2008, 2009. So we started building this, and it gained traction. And then we found with those tools that not only was it great for real estate agents, but we could co-brand and really help the lenders to partner up with their realtors and create products that would pull the consumer off of, all the big home search sites and put them onto an app that was branded to a realtor and to the loan officer, so that you can click on the competitors. And so we started building that, and again, grew and started working with more and more lenders, more and more real estate agents and brokers. And then just a couple years ago, we started to create the MMI product, which is the Mobility Market Intelligence. And that was really kind of the whole, hey, let's, create something so that you know who to work with. Because so often I want to work with realtors, but I don't know who's done 2 deals. I don't know who's done 20 deals or 100 deals. And so we started to build that, and the response has just been awesome. So there's the story. Fast forwarded to where we are now.
So now, I just going back. I mean, do you think, so going back when you were involved in real estate, because you were successful in it, like, did you get that satisfaction out of the real estate business, or are you getting a lot more satisfaction of running a tech company that's helping countless mortgage companies and countless real estate firms to do this? Like, what is actually where did you get the more satisfaction personally?
That's an awesome question that really haven't been asked, and it's kind of cool to reflect on, because I think there's a ton of satisfaction being early 20s, and you're selling houses, and you're breaking into that kind of like, hey, top agent in this market, top agent in this company, and it was really like pretty exciting. But then what was crazy about it, and not that it's a bad thing, but you'd have to recreate yourself almost every single month in the real estate business, which you have to do, and then you do it again and again. Hey, I sold this house and it was awesome, but I gotta go sell this one next month. And so trying to come up with ways that was steady is really kind of what drove this. And so now what's fun is to be able to create technologies and things, ways to help people that were kind of in similar industry, real estate or mortgage, to create those tools or ways to have that steady flow. I think I'm a little happier doing what I'm doing now, because I see it affect so many more people that they can then, do better in terms of building relationships, knowing who to recruit, who they want to work with, and then also creating the tools that help them generate leads and close more deals. It's pretty fulfilling, and we love it, and we can be creative each day and come up with new crazy ideas, and then actually make them happen and release it and see what it does to people's business. It's pretty fun, on our side. So,
okay, so talk about one of these crazy ideas. Let's talk about actually the craziest idea that you've come up with in the last, let's say, 24 months.
All right, the first, I think, was, in general, we knew kind of production, but it was like, there's so much data out there. Do you think we could kind of grab it all and try and make it make sense, but do it in a simple way that people will actually use it? Because I think you can look at spreadsheets all day long, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff and say, yeah, that's awesome data, but now what do I do with it? And so it was trying to take, literally millions and millions and millions of records and putting it all into, one thing. And when we first started, it was like, how do we even open this file? This file's so big, and then it was like, well, now we gotta take that and on to the next. And so I think the crazy idea was, how do we put so many moving parts into one simple thing? And it seemed like kind of a daunting task. And looking back, you say, what were we thinking? And then we did it, and it turned out to be really, really cool. And then we just keep adding new stuff to it. So that was kind of the craziest thought, and glad we did. I think a lot of others are glad we did at the moment. So.
That's great. So now, do you actually provide any kind of tools, to let's say if I'm a mortgage company and I'm trying actually to work with, the right real estate agents in my market, talk a little bit about the tools that you provide those mortgage companies to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, that was really kind of our initial product, was that co-branded tool for the realtor and the loan officer. And we find that it's great to know which agent you want to work with, but you can't just go to that agent and be like, hey, I have really good rates and I can close fast. It's like, yeah, you and everyone else that brings me donuts, And so we said, let's create tools that actually mean something. We're going to build both your business. So what we've done is we've created those home search apps that basically we tie into the MLS. We're a approved vendor of close to a couple hundred MLSs across the country, which allow us to then go in and say, all right, we're going to create this. We're going to tie it right to the MLS. We'll brand it to you as the realtor. We'll put your loan officer on there, so now the consumer can see homes. It's the most accurate way to see it because it's coming directly from that market in real time. And then you can request a showing and your agents can show it to you. You can click and you can get approved right from your mobile device from your lender. You can use all those tools and do that in a way that now you're not putting your client in front of all the competitors. And so we create those apps. We've also done some really cool things with some of our partners in the mortgage industry, different CRMs, that have single property pages, the brochure creators. We work together to say, hey, here's the realtor. They took a new listing. Now let's create those tools. And those are things that help the agent. They help the LO. And so those are definitely products that we provide and have seen a lot of success for both agents and loan officers to utilize those and give them to the consumer and generate leads.
So now this year, let's talk about this year, and we're about to get into the big numbers. I promise you. But I'm just like, so do these tools, are they relevant this year? Like, are they as powerful this year, or is it like do we need business to slow down for people to say, okay, this is great? Like, let's talk about like how has adoption of this technology been for 2020?
Yeah, so it's been an amazing year for us, even though it's been a crazy year. And again, I say it all the time, and we've talked and. We feel very fortunate that we are in this industry and in this space because so many people have had some pretty brutal things happen in terms of their business and everything else. But we see our clients thriving and our usage, also just really increasing. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. One, you have everything that was going on, early in the year with, kind of March, April, when we all kind of jumped into the pandemic saying, what is happening? And, to be able to see kind of the whole market and here's what's going on and here's who's doing what and how many deals are closing, what's kind of happening, was really pretty helpful. But then I think it was this other, hey, this is a perfect time for us to recruit. And this is the perfect time for us to reach out and talk to people and say, here's what we can do to help you, with that pipeline that you've got. And then, we added some additional tools to say, let's help our clients find, not only just originators, but let's find processors, let's find underwriters, let's find LOAs and really help you guys. So things like that have just really taken off this year because it's been helpful. But the other thing that we're finding is, the refi business is crazy and just booming. And we see those numbers, and it's amazing to see the purchase versus refi this year compared to others. But what we're finding is that putting some of the tools in place for your realtor partners, so that it can be doing its thing while you're focused on refis, will continue to maintain that realtor relationship so that when the refis slow down a little, you've had this constant interaction and tools and helping your realtor to where the relationship is still, doing really well, and you don't slow on your momentum. It's, you're going to transition straight to, that purchase side because you've built that. So that's been another reason that we've seen a real jump in activity.
Yeah, but I'm scared actually that real estate agents are just not getting the love, and they're not going to be able to get the phone call. They're not going to be able to get the personal attention. So if you can give technology tools to them, so they can still feel the love, but actually, from a technological standpoint, that's great. So, which is, I think, a perfect segue into start actually getting into some numbers here. So talk about actually, refis versus purchase. If you could share actually, some kind of data points on that.
Yeah, we've watched it, and it's always so interesting because we look at mortgage companies as a whole, and we look at the companies purchase versus refi, and so often you hear we are this much purchase, which is a great thing as a lender, but then you see this year, and almost for lenders, individual LOs, it's almost the opposite of what it's been. It's that like 60-40, even 70-30. Swap of we're seeing that purchase, and then this year hits, rates are obviously incredible, and you see just this, almost exact swap of where they were on that 60-40 or 70-30, to where now they're doing 60-70% of their volume right now is in refi, which again, you got to take it while it's hot, but that's why we also like to say, hey, look, let's make sure, though, that we're building all these other things to help for the purchase side, that those are going as well. Because, you've probably read a lot of the statistics on the real estate side of this is the days on market is crazy low. Our local market, average days on market is 12 days. I remember, when everyone was blown away that it was like 30. But, we're 12 days here. But I think nationally, I think it's at 22. 24, and so that market is still hot as can be. Inventory is a little low, but it's moving off the shelf. But we tend, in the mortgage side of it, to lose focus on that business is still hot as can be. We got to make sure that we're keeping that relationship going, so that when we take a breath on the refis, we have all that.
All right, so pretty much, so we're talking actually. So refis are going insane, but like the data is also saying actually that the purchases are going insane when you see actually the low inventory, which is also not just low in inventory, but it's just stuff's moving so quickly. So give us an idea of volume. Let's talk about originators. Because I know a lot of people are going to watch this and going to be like, so, because I said actually, we're going to find out how many originators, have already broken 1,000, how many originators have broken 250, and any other data points. So, without further ado, so what is our grand total for how many originators have broke 250? Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. All right, I'm going to give you the exact number. Pull it up here. So this is pretty crazy. That is right. 250 transactions. We're at 4,112 as of right now, which is pretty amazing.
Hold on, I got to put this in the comments. So in over 250 transactions are how many again?
A little north of 4,100. Yeah, 4,112. Now, here's the thing, though. We got to also consider in that number, because we're talking about transactions, you do have some that are cranking out some Helocs and some other things, so it's not, a full loan, but it's still, considered a transaction. And 4,100 that have done over 250 transactions, which is pretty amazing to see that.
I mean, but still, actually, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, there's not many people that are doing Helocs this year. This is a year to you go after your first. So if you can, I mean, so that's just amazing. So we've now just give us an idea. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever looked at this before, but what does that look like? What does that number normally look like this time of year?
Yeah, so funny enough, last year, we weren't really monitoring, those statistics and those numbers, but in looking at it, it's growing and it's growing quickly. I mean, just see each month how quick that's increasing. From what I understand, it's significantly higher, maybe not quite double, but significantly higher. I don't have the exact number for last year. I pull that at this exact time. But it feels like it's much, much higher. The other thing, though, that is really interesting is the dollar volume that goes along with it, because that's really high, and it seems to be much higher than the previous. So to give you an idea, in just pulling some rough numbers quickly, it looks as though there are over 1,700 originators that have done over 100 million in volume, which is, again, pretty shocking. You know, I mean, that's a big number. But 1,700 doing over 100 million in volume. So really a good year for a lot of people. And then I think we've talked a little bit, Andrew, but maybe we want to save this for last. Kind of those doing crazy volume in terms of number of transactions. We pulled that stat of the 1,000 unit benchmark, and there's a lot of them. So should we throw that in? It's kind of
Okay, let's do it. Bring it.
All right, drum roll again. 41. There it is. 41 originators.
That's insane.
Units in October.
Now let me ask you, because I honestly I've never heard of any originator breaking 1,000 units. Now, I do also think that there's, we talked about this before. Not everyone is filling out the forms. Not everyone actually is going out there and touting their numbers. I know actually we do that, many cases to kind of to show actually, the accomplishment, to inspire maybe others to kind of step it up. But have you ever seen that before? Have you ever seen, over 1,000 units from a single originator?
It's a huge number. I mean, it's crazy now. What you got to figure is plenty of teams and a lot of people helping hit that kind of volume. And so it's all a matter of how is it being recorded and put in there and everything else. But you just imagine the amount of volume to hit 1,000 and how many deals you're doing on a daily basis, and then to see that there's that many doing it. And the thing that's really crazy, Andrew, to see is, that was the cutoff, 1,000, but I can't tell you how many are just sitting in that 900, 950, 980 number, of transactions. There's so many. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But you look at that demand of how many people, rates have never been where they're at, and so you think of all those people that are saying, why would I not, do this right now? Why would I not jump in and take advantage of these? And those that have the tools in place and have that sphere and past client and everything else that they can tap into and get everyone to refi, you're seeing the results. It's crazy. It's good stuff.
So now if we look at that 4,100, and I don't know if you've dug down to see actually what kind of originators are these? Bank originators? Are any brokers on there? Like, what kind of originators are hitting these big numbers, over 100 million, over 1,000 transactions? What is it looking like?
That's what's been really pretty cool. Is it's really pretty diverse there. We're seeing it coming from banks, brokers, from mortgage companies, individuals, mortgage bankers. It's pretty even, which is pretty cool to see that everyone's in that mix. We haven't broken down the exact percentage of what, but there's definitely a good mix in that volume.
Wow, that is amazing. So now, and do you guys track actually channels to see actually what channels are growing, what channels are maybe contracting?
Yeah, we do. We have some insights that we put into the dashboards to show, hey, look, this is this loan type, or this different product that is doing this much, and this is where it was, and this is how much it's grown, and this is the market share of that. So being able to track that, and then we have trends. Who's trending up in the last 3 months in these categories? Who's trending down in those categories, and it's been pretty cool to watch and see all those metrics.
Fantastic. Now, do you have a lot of recruiters that use the service to kind of see? I'd imagine this is gold. I mean, this is like if you're out there recruiting and you don't have a subscription to this, it's like it's like you're not using one of the best tools out there.
Yeah.
So
we absolutely do, and it's I think there was a time when it was you talk to an LO and it was, hey, we'd love to have a conversation, and the LO is saying, well, here's my production, And there was really not a whole lot of ways you could verify that. It was kind of like, okay, sounds good. I hope so. And then, 3 months in, you're like, hey, where'd all that volume go? What happened? So it's kind of nice to be able to see that and say, okay, this is where you're at, and hey, this is when you took that builder on, and this is when this happened, and look what's going on. But on top of that, hey, look, you've got a great in with this brokerage. Look how many deals you're getting from this brokerage. And, that's been the other kind of cool thing is that yes, we can show you what's going on and kind of paint the picture, but then we can show you where there's opportunities. And one of the things that we really focused on is helping the originator themselves analyze their own relationships that they have with kind of their existing realtors to say, okay, look, let's show you your wallet share. These are all your realtors you've worked with, and you felt like you got a whole bunch of business from them, and you did. However, look how many total buy-side deals this agent did. You're really only getting 40% of their business. And it's kind of that eye-opener for the LO to say, man, I really felt like I was getting everything, and it's interesting to see that this is what I'm getting. But then, you also have this scenario where you go in and you say, hey, I am getting all their business. I'm getting 90% of their deals, the donuts worked. Not that the donuts really work. That's kind of my joke. But
I use it all the time.
yeah, whatever works. But it's kind of a cool way to help that LO say, look, here's what you're doing. Here's, kind of the bigger picture. Here's where you might want to focus because, this is where you could get more. And this is where maybe you need to give them some more time and do some stuff. And maybe these tools will help increase and build the business. And then, we're also trying to help them by, monitoring their past book of business and, saying, hey, if these are all my previous deals I've done, we know anytime a home hits the market. And so what we're able to do is say, hey, this home just hit the market and it's your client that you refied 7 months ago. You probably should talk to them because their home hit the MLS this morning. And so that way you reach out and it's the conversation of, hey, what are you up to? And I hopes that, they haven't purchased that other home yet, which most likely they haven't. And you get in front of that, get their most recent, stubs, and you're good to go on that purchase. And so, that's been a cool thing. So it's not only helping on the recruiting side, but it's then saying, hey, let's help that originator take it to the next level by honing in on the relationships of both their realtors and their past clients. So
do you ever find that real estate agents don't actually have their the top real estate agents are not pounding their chest and actually shouting to everyone and putting on all billboards, we are the most sold, or so is there ever actually the top producers that aren't bandstanding their numbers?
And it's crazy to see this, so many agents that aren't the ones on the billboard, aren't the ones on the the buses driving by, because those agents obviously are doing really well and they're touting and marketing, and getting their name out and doing a good job of it. But it's been really pretty amazing to watch how many of these agents are somewhat flying under the radar and putting out some huge numbers. And it's been fun to be on conversations with loan officers and to have them look up their own and look at their realtors and just not even believe that realtor is doing as much business as they were. It was like, I had no idea she was, doing this much business. And, I felt good that I was getting a deal a month, but she's doing 4 deals a month. But there are a lot of those agents that just quietly kind of do their thing. And, it's kind of nice to be able to see where those opportunities are. But the other thing that is quite amazing as you look at it is how many of them don't have a solid go-to as their loan officer. So you see that, hey, they do a bunch of deals, but it's all over the place. It's, this LO got 3 deals, this LO got 2 deals, this LO got, 1 deal. And so, to be able to look at that and say, wow, they're doing a lot, and no one's really been able to kind of build that relationship to get a decent percentage of that. And then you find others where they're sending it all to this individual LO. So being able to kind of find that stuff out and look is really pretty helpful.
That's great. So now, biggest opportunities when you find the agents who are sending it everywhere. They probably don't have a strong relationship with someone, and so you spend your time with those people. You don't spend time actually focusing on the top producers that are sending it to the same person over and over again.
Right. And I've had a relationship for 15 years with that person, and it's a good relationship and it's working well for them. But finding these where there's an opportunity, they don't have a go-to person, and help them do even more with their business, can use some of that technology and some other things to help build the business. Let's reach out, let's have a conversation, and having just that little something to start that conversation, that little foot in the door, and then being able to then build on that relationship and work together is pretty cool.
That's great. Some powerful tools there. I mean, it's amazing that the data that you've amassed. I mean, it's all public data. It's not like not like this is hidden information. It's out there. You've just put it into useful forms, put it together, combine it with other data products that make it so originators can find actually the right real estate agents to work with. Their company management, the recruiters can work to find actually the best originators to potentially recruit. And I think actually between that and the tools that you've created to help empower the real estate agents so they can do more business, especially at a time where we're not able to show them the direct love by making phone calls to them and answering their calls as timely as we want. So I think it's a powerful thing to be able to do this today. Some awesome stuff. I mean, really, really cool things. So Ben, listen, someone wants to get a hold of you. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah. So, a couple different ways. Now, I would throw out my cell number, but it's typically not the best way to get a hold of me because while I've been sitting here, a bunch of people have, and I'm talking to you, and they're not getting responded to. So I'm going to give you something that you'll actually get a response, and that will be far, far more effective. So let me, I can put out email address, and we can give you a couple different ones just depending on what it is that you're wanting to do. Obviously, if you're interested in inquiring about it, you can obviously go to sales at MobilityRE.com. And then yep. And then our phone number too that you can always call. You're able to do that, and that is just 855-858-0590. And then you can always just call, email there, but you can also go on to the site and request a demo. We can get you videos, demos, walk through it, see what it does. We cover about 95% of the country right now, and so just about every market's going to have the ability. So that's how it would be best to reach out and do that, or even hit us up on social media. We're on air now, so just click through and ping us there, and we'll definitely respond and get in touch with you for sure.
And just make sure that 855-858-0590.
You got it.
Okay, fantastic. All right, I'm going to throw that up there. There's the number. Call it. Check out the website. Send an email. Figure out ways to get all. But this just I'm going to cycle through these numbers one more time. So 4,100 originators. Plus, I've already done 250 transactions. I mean, listen, rarefied air is usually 100 transactions. If you're doing 100 transactions or more, like that is rarefied air. That is, I mean, I would say that probably a full year to see 4,100, doing over 100 transactions would probably be a lot. So you've got that. We have 1,700 originators have done over $100 million year to date. This year's not even over yet. So we've got actually, we've got some time to actually to get these numbers up, and this is just the most amazing number. I just can't believe this. This is insane. 41 originators have done over 1,000 loans year to date. And we kind of you told me like a number of where you thought it was going to be. I wrote it down, and I think I wrote down the wrong number. Like I think I must have wrote down. There's no way that it was possible, and I mean, just seeing this is just out of this world. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Stick around while I take everyone out. All right.
Awesome.
Again,
all right.
everyone.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on another Mortgage Leadership Outlet. We come to you live every Wednesday, 4 o'clock East Coast time, 1 o'clock Pacific. Really, really appreciate it as we meet with some of the greatest minds in the mortgage industry, bring just unbelievable products, unbelievable services that help you do more business, be more efficient with your operation, and deal with all that's going on with the chaos that is facing us in this mortgage industry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there.